What if I told you that Edgar Cayce, the legendary sleeping prophet who astounded the world with over 14,000 psychic readings, identified a specific type of woman who possesses abilities that most people can't even comprehend? And what if these women are walking among us right now, carrying invisible gifts that could transform our understanding of human consciousness itself? Stay with me, because by the end of this revelation, you'll discover whether you're one of these rare souls, and why that changes everything. Edgar Cayce said something that shocked even his closest followers: there exists among humanity a select group of women who carry within their souls an ancient wisdom, a direct connection to the universal consciousness that flows through all creation. According to Edgar Cayce's readings, these women don't just possess heightened intuition, they operate as living bridges between dimensions, translating cosmic intelligence into earthly wisdom. But here's what will astound you: Cayce discovered that these women often don't even realize the magnitude of their gifts. They walk through life thinking they're different, maybe even broken, when in reality, they're evolutionary. And I'm about to reveal the 6 invisible traits that prove it. Trait 1, the Akashic Readers. Imagine walking into a room and instantly knowing the emotional history of everyone in it. Impossible? Not according to Edgar Cayce. Edgar Cayce discovered that certain women possess what he called Akashic sensitivity, the ability to read the energetic records that surround every human being. These aren't just emotions or vibes, they're accessing what Cayce termed the book of life in real time. When she enters a space, the atmosphere shifts. Not because of what she does or says, but because her consciousness automatically attunes to the Akashic frequencies that most people can't perceive. According to Edgar Cayce, these women function as human receivers, picking up transmissions from the collective memory of humanity itself. They sense the unspoken pain behind cheerful masks, the hidden agendas wrapped in charming presentations, the ancestral trauma still echoing through bloodlines, the soul contracts playing out in relationships. But here's where it gets almost unbelievable. Edgar Cayce said this gift often runs in family lines, passed down through generations of women who had to develop this radar for survival. These women carry the energetic legacy of grandmothers who could sense danger in a footstep, who could read the emotional climate of their homes to protect their children. This inherited wisdom flows through bloodlines like a river of knowing. Yet this gift comes with a price. To see clearly is to see what others desperately want to keep hidden. These women become unwitting guardians of truth in a world built on illusions. Have you ever walked into a space and immediately felt something was wrong, even though everyone seemed fine? Have you ever had an instant reaction to someone that later proved absolutely correct? This is your first glimpse into Akashic reading, and there's so much more to discover. Trait 2, the Cosmic Communicators. Edgar Cayce made a startling claim: some souls maintain open telephone lines to the cosmic consciousness while incarnated in physical form. What he discovered next will challenge everything you believe about coincidence. According to Edgar Cayce, spiritually intelligent women maintain what he called active channels to the universal intelligence. While most people catch occasional glimpses of this deeper reality through dreams or rare inspirational moments, these women live with constant access. Edgar Cayce said they experience dreams that manifest in waking life with uncanny precision. Synchronicities that cluster around them like iron filings to a magnet. Guidance through intuitive flashes that prove remarkably accurate. Symbolic communications from what Cayce called the source. Edgar Cayce discovered that these women possess more permeable boundaries between conscious and superconscious mind. They serve as translators between the symbolic realm and practical reality. A dream about water becomes precise guidance about emotional healing. A chance encounter with a specific animal delivers a message about personal power. A recurring number pattern confirms they're aligned with cosmic timing. Coincidence? Edgar Cayce said absolutely not. This connection amplifies their experience of what Cayce termed meaningful coincidences. While others dismiss such events as random chance, these women recognize them as direct communications from the intelligence that orchestrates reality behind the scenes. But here's what most people miss: according to Edgar Cayce, these women don't just receive cosmic guidance, they become conduits for it. They find themselves in the right place at the right time with exactly what someone needs, not through planning, but through following invisible currents of divine purpose. Their lives become stories of mythic proportions, filled with encounters that feel scripted by cosmic intelligence itself. Trait 3, the Sacred Hermits. Edgar Cayce made an observation that goes against everything our extroverted culture believes: the deepest spiritual transformations happen in solitude, away from the opinions and energies of others. And certain women instinctively know this truth. Edgar Cayce discovered that spiritually intelligent women cultivate what he called sacred withdrawal, choosing solitude not from antisocial tendencies, but from profound wisdom. According to Edgar Cayce, their solitude isn't loneliness, it's laboratory work for the soul. These women understand that to hear that still small voice that Cayce spoke of, they must regularly step away from the noise of collective consciousness. But here's what will shock you: when these women withdraw, they're not running from life, they're diving deeper into it than most people ever dare to go. Edgar Cayce said that during these periods of sacred solitude, incredible transformations occur. Downloads of cosmic information. Perspective shifts that alter entire life trajectories. Creative breakthroughs that seem to come from beyond. Direct communication with what Cayce called the universal forces. Yet here's the tragedy: family and friends often misinterpret their need for space as rejection or depression. These women must learn to honor their energetic cycles without guilt, understanding that their depth requires regular returns to the inner well. Edgar Cayce discovered that attempting to maintain constant social connection depletes these women's spiritual resources and diminishes their ability to serve others authentically. Their solitude becomes an act of cosmic responsibility. Trait 4, the Alchemical Healers. Edgar Cayce revealed something that will transform how you understand suffering: the greatest healers are those who have descended into their own underworld and emerged carrying treasures that can only be found in the depths of personal hell. According to Edgar Cayce, spiritually intelligent women don't simply endure pain, they alchemize it. They possess what he called the transmutation function, the ability to transform personal suffering into universal wisdom. Edgar Cayce said this mirrors the ancient archetype of the wounded healer, the one who gains the power to heal others precisely through intimate knowledge of suffering. Their pain becomes their qualification, their suffering their certification as guides for others walking similar paths. But here's where it becomes truly extraordinary: Edgar Cayce discovered that these women learn to hold opposing forces in tension until a third possibility emerges, something entirely new. They embrace both their light and shadow, their joy and grief, their strength and vulnerability. Instead of choosing sides in the war between opposing forces within themselves, they become what Cayce called the sacred marriage of these opposites. This alchemical process requires tremendous courage. These women must be willing to feel everything fully, to resist the temptation to bypass their pain through premature forgiveness or spiritual platitudes. Edgar Cayce said healing isn't the absence of wounds, but the transformation of wounds into wisdom. Their scars become sacred sites, pilgrimage destinations for their own souls and eventually for others seeking similar transformation. And the responsibility that comes with this wisdom? Once you've walked through fire and emerged refined rather than destroyed, you become accountable to the collective healing process. Trait 5, the Silent Healers. Edgar Cayce made a profound observation: the greatest healing often happens not through what is said, but through what is felt in the presence of one who has integrated their wholeness. Prepare to discover the power of therapeutic presence. According to Edgar Cayce, spiritually intelligent women develop what he called healing presence, a way of communicating that relies less on words and more on the vibration of integrated being itself. Edgar Cayce discovered that for these women, silence is never empty, it is eloquence distilled. Their quietude can heal in ways 1,000 words cannot. Often the greatest gift they give another person is not advice or solutions, but the willingness to sit beside them, to witness their reality without judgment, without interference, without trying to fix what is unfolding. This form of communication bypasses the intellect and speaks directly to the soul. When such a woman enters a space marked by suffering, her presence alone whispers, "It is possible to endure." It is possible to emerge from darkness with light still intact. Because they understand the cosmic power of language, they never use it carelessly. Edgar Cayce said that words are instruments of creation, they can build or destroy, heal or wound. They speak sparingly, knowing that in restraint lies resonance. Their silence carries fullness and unspoken compassion, a depth that holds more meaning than endless chatter ever could. And here's something remarkable, people frequently report feeling uplifted after even brief contact with them. This is not coincidence. They are, in essence, human tuning forks resonating at higher frequencies and drawing others into alignment through unconscious attunement. Trait 6, the synchronicity magnets. Edgar Cayce made a startling discovery. Some souls live in an atmosphere where meaning gathers, where coincidence turns sacred, where the universe speaks directly through orchestrated events. And these women don't chase mystical encounters, they magnetize them. According to Edgar Cayce, these women seem to exist in a field of what he called divine synchronicity attraction, the clustering of meaningful coincidences that cannot be explained by chance alone. Edgar Cayce discovered that where others search frantically for signs, these women simply live in alignment, and the signs come naturally. Their consciousness operates like a beacon, calling forth experiences, people, and opportunities that further their own evolution and the awakening of those around them. Their lives read like sacred texts, filled with chapters written by an unseen intelligence that arranges moments with precision and purpose. But here's what requires careful discernment. Edgar Cayce said that not everything that sparkles is divine guidance. Not every coincidence is destiny. These women must learn to separate genuine cosmic direction from ego-driven fantasy, sacred timing from personal impatience. Without this clarity, Edgar Cayce warned, their gift could easily slip into illusion. With it, they become master navigators, steering through the ocean of life with trust and divine discernment. Their presence in any circle inevitably stirs transformation. They don't intend to provoke change, yet change happens simply by their being. They awaken questions others didn't know they carried. Their authenticity becomes a mirror that compels others to examine their masks. And as these women mature, something beautiful happens that will surprise you. Edgar Cayce revealed a profound paradox: the more extraordinary their abilities become, the more ordinary they appear. What he discovered about spiritual maturity will change how you view true power. According to Edgar Cayce, as these women deepen into spiritual maturity, the dramatic dissolves into simplicity. What once seemed mystical becomes their second nature. They cease to identify as special, recognizing their gifts as instruments of cosmic service, not badges of superiority. Edgar Cayce called this, the return to divine simplicity. Having traveled through the labyrinth of shadows and light, having integrated their depths and their heights, they arrive at a profound ordinariness that is actually extraordinary. Their power no longer shouts, it whispers. It expresses itself not in spectacle but in quiet authenticity. They no longer seek recognition or hunger for validation. Their assurance comes from within, from the unshakable sense that by being who they are fulfilling their cosmic role. The impact they leave behind may never be measured in numbers or applause. It will be etched instead in invisible places, the hearts they soothed, the lives they gently shifted, the souls they reminded of their own depth. Edgar Cayce said something that will take your breath away: true spiritual influence is invisible. True authority comes through love rather than control, through example rather than command. These women become living prayers. They become walking meditations, quiet embodiments of what it means to move through life with grace in a world obsessed with noise. The solitude that once felt like exile now becomes sanctuary. The sensitivity that once seemed like a curse now glimmers as their greatest strength. The wisdom that once alienated them now emerges as medicine for a weary world. They learn to trust the cosmic intelligence moving through them, even when they cannot explain it. Edgar Cayce discovered that they learn to cherish their difference as divine design rather than defect. They embrace the mystery of their calling, knowing it may never be fully understood, even by themselves. If you have felt this resonance stirring within you as these revelations unfold, this is no accident. You may be recognizing your own soul's blueprint, written in the language of cosmic intelligence that Edgar Cayce spent his lifetime decoding. The legendary psychic Edgar Cayce, known as the Sleeping Prophet, devoted his life to understanding the deeper mysteries of human consciousness and spiritual awakening. Through thousands of readings, he revealed patterns that connect our earthly struggles to our cosmic purpose. His work suggests that what we often perceive as personal flaws or challenges are actually sacred markers of a greater calling. According to the principles found throughout Cayce's extensive readings, your sensitivity is not weakness but cosmic strength. In a world that often dismisses the subtle and the intuitive, those who feel deeply are actually tuned to frequencies that most cannot perceive. Your emotional depth is not a burden to bear but a gift to honor. A direct line to the universal consciousness that Cayce believed flows through all existence. This sensitivity manifests in countless ways: the ability to sense others' emotions before they speak, the overwhelming feeling in crowded spaces, the deep connection to nature's rhythms, the inexplicable knowing that transcends logical understanding. These are not coincidences but cosmic assignments, carefully designed aspects of your spiritual architecture. Your need for solitude is not absence but spiritual restoration. Cayce's teachings emphasize that certain souls require periods of withdrawal not from antisocial tendencies, but from a deep need to process the intense energies they naturally absorb. Your quiet moments are not empty spaces but full encounters with the divine intelligence that speaks most clearly in stillness. In these sacred pauses, you are not hiding from the world, you are preparing to serve it more fully. The depth of insight that emerges from contemplative solitude often becomes the very wisdom others desperately seek. Your retreats into silence are actually advances into understanding. The challenges you face are not punishments but sacred inscriptions of wisdom earned through fire. Cayce's philosophy suggests that certain souls choose more difficult paths precisely because their spiritual mission requires the depth that only comes through transformation. Your struggles are not evidence of cosmic abandonment but proof of cosmic trust. The universe believes in your capacity to alchemize pain into wisdom. Every difficulty you navigate becomes a teaching tool, not just for your own growth but for the countless others who will benefit from the insights you've earned through experience. Your willingness to walk through the fire creates a pathway that others can follow toward their own healing and awakening. This path that echoes through Cayce's teachings is not simple. It requires 1. Courage to believe what others cannot see. You must trust in realities that exist beyond the five senses, following inner guidance that logic cannot always trace. This requires a particular kind of bravery, the willingness to appear different, to trust the invisible, to act on knowing rather than proof. 2. Faith to follow guidance that transcends conventional wisdom. The intelligence flowing through you often contradicts societal expectations and cultural norms. You must develop the spiritual muscle to honor your inner compass even when it points toward paths others cannot understand. 3. Strength to remain true in a culture that prizes conformity. Perhaps most challenging of all, you must maintain your authentic expression in a world that often rewards sameness over soul truth. Your very existence becomes an act of spiritual rebellion against the forces that would dim your light. But for those who recognize this calling, there is no alternative. This intelligence is not optional. It is the very essence of who you are. The traits you carry, the sensitivity, the depth, the struggle, the insight, are not accidents of genetics or environment. They are precise instruments calibrated for a specific purpose that extends far beyond personal fulfillment. Cayce's work consistently revealed that certain individuals incarnate with particular gifts and challenges because their souls have agreed to serve as bridges between worlds. You are here to translate cosmic wisdom into earthly understanding, to demonstrate that there are ways of being and knowing that transcend material limitation. Trust the river flowing through you. Stop fighting the current of your nature and learn to navigate it with skill and grace. Your intuitive intelligence is not something to overcome but something to master and direct toward meaningful service. 1. Honor the sensitivity that defines you. Recognize it as a sophisticated spiritual technology that allows you to perceive and respond to subtleties others miss. Your emotional depth is your access point to universal compassion and wisdom. 2. Embrace the solitude that shapes you. Understand your need for quiet as a sacred requirement, not a social failure. In your moments of withdrawal, you are actually diving deeper into connection with the source of all wisdom. 3. Transform the pain that refines you. See your struggles as the precise experiences needed to develop the strength, compassion, and insight that your soul came here to cultivate and share. Your journey through sensitivity, solitude, and struggle matters more than you know. Your experience validates others who walk similar paths, confirming that they are not alone in their spiritual sensitivity. Your willingness to be visible in your authenticity encourages countless individuals to embrace their own hidden gifts and trust their inner guidance. Which of these traits resonates most deeply within you? How have they guided your own unfolding? Your recognition of these gifts is the first step toward embracing a calling that Cayce suggested was written in your soul before incarnation, a cosmic contract signed in the realm of spirit and played out in the theater of earthly experience. The journey doesn't end here. There are more depths to uncover, more hidden gifts to honor, more cosmic wisdom waiting to rise through your unique expression. As Cayce reminded us throughout his extraordinary work, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. If these words have touched something deep within you, something that feels like remembering rather than learning, then you know. You are one of them. And the world needs what you came here to give. Thank you so much for staying with me through this exploration. If you found value in today's discussion, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and share this video with someone who might benefit from it. And if you'd like to go a step further in supporting this work, you can now leave a super thanks below. It's a small way to say thank you, and it truly helps keep this channel going.